Good evening, traders. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group with your end-of-day market recap for March 1st. And what a first of the month it was, with equities climbing. What did we finish? Over 2% today, I believe, and Nasdaq really getting a nice move today as well, which led markets. So what typically happens sometimes on the first of the month? I had talked about this in the morning video. A lot of times you'll see a couple of portfolio managers reweight or change up their portfolio allocation on the first of the month. And my guess is that took place today. Sometimes it's between asset classes, large, mid, small cap. Sometimes it's out of fixed income and into equity, or vice versa. And if you look at judging by today's performance in fixed income and treasury bonds, how much they were down and how much equities were up, my guess is that someone did that move in decent size today. So I will watch the ETF inflows. That'll be the evidence of that. But that could be quite dramatic on the first day of the month, and I think that was part of the reason for that. And once, all it takes is someone with some size to kind of push the market one way, and then everybody kind of gets behind it. So not a huge volume day, but I'll look at the SPY volume in just a second. But let's look at the charts for a second. SPX. A lot of consolidation around this 50-day moving average. Weren't exactly sure which way we were going to go, but blast off right through the 50-day moving average. So the next area of resistance is this red line that I've drawn. This represents a couple different points, here, 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 here. It also coincides with the 100-day moving average, which I love when resistance areas also kind of converge with moving averages. But I think that's what a lot of people are looking for, is the 2000 level. This is SPX. But I see that's the next big area of resistance. And my particular market take is that we can grind up there. Maybe we pull back a little bit before that, but I think that we can get up there. And then maybe we turn the corner back down again. Maybe we do some more consolidation around here, but that's just my opinion. But we'll see. That's the next area that I'm watching. Let's look at particular volumes. I mentioned I would look at SPY volume. It was about 10% less than the 30-day average volume. So not huge volume, but nevertheless, some good volume in some other places in the market. Qs actually were only about 30%. We're 30% off of average day volume. So not a lot of volume there. XLF, nice volume, as XLF finished up 3.4% versus the S&P. It's finished up 2.4% as well. So some nice movement there in the financials. That's something that I've been watching for a while. So let's kind of just get into some of the day's activity. We'll go first to, I'll come back to the regional banks, but oil, what everybody's been kind of watching lately. And, the correlation has been so high recently. Let me just get to the right day. Here you go. We were up pre-market, up around this $33 level, which is really nice. When the market was very concerned, there was a lot of fear out there once, oil was trading around the $27 range. But now that we're back above $30 and have been climbing steadily since, it just takes a lot of pressure out of the market. And this was something that I've been talking about recently. So as oil continues to move up, the correlation has been so high, about 90% last week and throughout the month of February between the S&P and oil. But maybe we're starting to see that decouple. At some point, it has to decouple. And with the volatility dropping in oil, I would presume that's going to take place. And then the market can worry about things that it normally does, like earnings and some of the other places rather than oil. So here's, in my weekend newsletter, this was what I was talking about. I might as well go to regional banks. Regional banks had a really nice day. They were one of the best performers today. Head and shoulders pattern was something that I was watching over the weekend. Left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. And then yesterday, let me just bring up another chart. Oops, not that one. It's the same one. We'll go over to Apple in a minute, but KRE. was actually lagged yesterday pretty hard, even though oil was up yesterday, down 2.2%, but up 4.2% to 4.16% today. So really making up for yesterday's performance. The trade that I liked that I pointed out this weekend was a particular call spread, purchasing the April 37.39 call spread for 59 cents. You probably could have gotten a better price for that yesterday if you so chose to take that trade. It's now marking around 70 cents, I believe, maybe a little bit higher, but probably could have gotten into that for around 50 cents yesterday. So a nice move there. So what kind of gave us a lift? Well, we were already up nicely coming into the day, right around about 60, 70 basis points. But the economics, which came out at 10 o'clock for the most part, which I like because it really gives you a chance to act on this rather than most of the data coming out at 8:30 in the morning. And it gets to be a little whippy around there, even if you like to trade futures. So we had a nice reaction here. Again, ISM manufacturing less than 50, which is not in expansion territory. However, higher than expectations, which is the key thing right now. As you know, there were some brokers that actually came out with reports a couple weeks ago. I think Citi was one of them, saying that the U.S. could slip into another recession. So once that was kind of being digested by the market, and now we're starting to see some data that's coming in a little bit higher than expectations. It's not great data by any means, but nevertheless, this started last week, Thursday and Friday, where we started to see a little bit better. Let's see, a little bit better data than what was expected. Let's see. Bloomberg not working with me. But here was the data from last week. That's why it wasn't coming up, because it's the 26th. So a couple data points that have been a little bit higher than expectations. GDP. This was again Friday's data, but just kind of goes to show you that the data's, the little upticks right now with expectations so low is giving this market a push. Personal income was higher. This was on Friday again. Personal spending a little bit higher. PCE deflator a little bit higher than expectations. University consumer sentiment, all upticks. So same thing with today's data. As well as we had durable goods, I believe that was a little bit higher than expected as well. I believe that was last Thursday. And then you had today's ISM manufacturing data. Again, not great, but higher than expectations. So a good thing there. Same thing with construction spending, a lot better than expectations. So if you look at the chart of the S&P today on the 5-minute, you had a chance to kind of play this. It actually looked like we were breaking down a bit, and right around before the number, and then here was the initial reaction to the number, a little bit of digestion, and then we took out the top of the value area on the 5-minute. Same thing on the hourly, and I love it when this happens, when there's a couple different levels on multiple time frames. Here was the hour on the hourly chart. Also took out with conviction, no looking back here. So this is what you want to see once you break a resistance area. You want to see, a big green bar, and we had continuation way after that. So this was 1 hour, and then we continued to move up and closed on the highs. So all positives. Just to kind of give you a little bit of what we saw in unusual option activity. I have up MET. That was a name that. And this is how I like to play unusual option activity. If I see repetitive buying taking place, which is what we did, right around 950 was the first signal, 1500 of all the way out to January, 52.5 calls. And then we saw the March calls also being purchased. This was minutes later. Where's the time? 10:40, actually, an hour later, excuse me. We also saw it here, met 41.5 calls for 72 cents. Also, once they buy it for a higher price, it confirms that they've got some conviction to do there. So let me see if I can bring up. Looks like this actually came off. Maybe there was a little bit of aftermarket activity, but nevertheless, here was 10 o'clock in the morning. So you had a nice grinding day for Met, as all of the financials, those beaten up stocks, really performed really well today. And so some of these are really short dated. However, you don't need to be holding these overnight. You could have been taking several profit targets in this name. Ample opportunity to take some money off the table for nice profits today. Another name that I saw today, Merck. Haven't seen any major unusual option activity in this name in a long, long time. 7,000 of the March 51.5 calls. Whoops, that traded today. Don't want that. We could see what time that hit today. This was in the afternoon, so 1 o'clock. And this was something that I mentioned, and a nice move here. So you still had about a good third of this move that that happened even after this later in the day activity. And then the other name that I was looking at the gaming names this morning because Macau had some news about gaming numbers coming in better than expectations. Sure enough, I was actually looking at MGM, but we didn't really see any major unusual option activity in that name that I saw. But what I did see is LVS, again, very short dated, but this happened. It looks like there was some spreads that also traded. Where are the weeklies? So this happened at there was a block. I can't find it right now, but there was a block that went up earlier in the day and it went off to the races. LVS. Actually came back here a little bit towards the end of the day, but you know, this was the initial reaction to the Macau numbers. It actually came in and then took off for the rest of the day. So a couple names there that really worked out pretty well in unusual option activity. Just to look at oil one more time today, there was some numbers, API numbers that came out after the close. This has happened for the last couple weeks where there's been a big build in API. So don't forget, tomorrow you have the Department of Energy numbers coming on, the weekly inventory numbers at 10:30. So I'm not too discouraged by this, you know, in terms of, you know, it sold off all the way to the bottom of value. Now kind of hovering right around these levels. But again, this has happened the last couple weeks and oil has been continue to go higher. So we'll see if that changes with tomorrow's Department of Energy numbers. But so that's about it for today. We'll just take one more look. The last thing I wanted to look at was Apple. That was another name that I was watching this morning. You know, great mover. A lot of consolidation since its initial move down, a lot of chop back and forth. Today got some relief from some of the pressure that it's been under with this this iPhone issue. There was a magistrate on a different particular issue about a drug dealer saying that they thought it was unlawful to access the iPhone. So again, not the case regarding the terrorist attack, but nevertheless, in a similar situation. Also, the product launch that's coming up for Apple, you know, also giving a little bit of a lift to Apple. So it could continue to possibly run here into that meeting. That's something that I'm watching every day. And then finally, last thing I wanted to leave you guys with is the Qs, which performed really nice today. Let me just put this over to candles. You know, take a look at this. I was talking about an inverted head and shoulders pattern with the regional banks. Also looks like that with the Qs. Left shoulder, head, possible right shoulder, neckline right here, and a break of the neckline could be a move to the 100 and 200-day moving average, which for whatever reason are moving side by side here. But that's something that I would watch for as well. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching tonight's video, and have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.